do you feel about all this?
About what?
Brain surgery.
No, it's just whatever. It's what it is. I'm the one getting surgery.
It is what it is.
It'll be fine. Are you chrome dome?
Yes, you absolutely have permission to call me chrome. Yeah, if it's metal, you can call me chrome dome. It's the same thing, like, I mean, that is something that we cope a lot of times with, a lot of like messed up crazy stuff that has happened in our lives, is just making jokes about it. Not because we're making light of the situation, but I guess to the point where it's like, how else are you gonna process? This is the, I would go through my entire skincare and hair regimen. However, my skincare and hair regimen for the next, my shower, and then the shower I'm gonna take in approximately 5 hours, is gonna be this bad boy right here. It's a beautiful day to get a mask cut out of your skull.
Oh.
I'm gonna do the thing.
Yep. Just hang on a second, okay?
Okay. So I washed it with the dial soap again, and now I have to dry it. Yeah.
By lunchtime, you're gonna be
Timmy free.
close to normal as you're gonna get. Timmy free.
First word done in my mouth, I'm gonna go for a seizure. Can I please have some food?
They're gonna tell you, no, not yet, sorry.
Right.
Can you do your bedside swallow test, please? Can I please have a sandwich? Me this morning. Can I have food? Knowing dang well I'm going under general anesthesia.
You took all your meds, right?
Yes, I took all my meds. But no, it was gonna be the first word done in my mouth in recovery. Sandwich! So the title of my condition is cerebral cavernous malformations. They are essentially a series of vascular masses where malformed capillaries form in your brain. As you grow over time, it can be genetic, it can be sporadic. I had a genetic test done, and while I did not test for the positive for the 3 known variants that can cause this mutation, it is probably genetic considering how many I have in my brain. In spring of 2024, I had a stroke, and it happened. I was watching a movie. Quite literally, I'm on the couch watching a movie, and I get a thunderclap headache. It's the worst headache I've ever had in my life, which most people who know about strokes and stuff like that, that's like the warning sign. And my vision went blurry in one eye, and then a couple of days later, like 2 days before I was supposed to have a consult with just my primary care provider, I had a grand mal seizure, also clinically known as a tonic-clonic seizure. End up in the hospital, and they originally thought it was a brain tumor. There was suspicions that it was probably stage 1 cancer. And so basically the goal for me was get to this doctor in this facility in Texas, get checked off as we're gonna have surgery to remove the tumor. And then if the biopsy came back positive, it was gonna be chemo. And they kind of like prepared me. They were like, it's gonna be a rough road, it's gonna be messy, go ahead and cut your hair. So I literally had hair down to the middle of my back, cut my hair like to my shoulders, and prepared. And then they were like, yeah, we don't want to operate on this. The holy bagel, the bagel that got me through hard times. My classic plain bagel with strawberry cream cheese. Yippee! I was first explained that it was in too much of an eloquent spot for them. It was too deep in my brain for them to operate, so it would be easier to just put me on seizure medications for any potential seizures that I would have, and medications to deal with the migraines and the after effects of having a stroke. I just kind of went back to normal, and because there's no really preparing you for what happens when you get sick in the way that I did. You still have to eventually go back to some sort of new normal, as my family dubs it, but I learned how to go through life with a mobility aid. I use canes and rollators to help with like fatigue and balance issues, things that are persistent and things that I still deal with to this day. Granted, a little bit better 1 month post-op, but it was definitely difficult to kind of just go back to normal and just acknowledge the zebra in the room, like, this is a thing that happened. This is how I am dealing with it. This is how I'm coping with it. And I think that's the one thing I could say that like I can do best for myself, is just finding the new normal and just running with it. It's been like crazy. The big thing was the Disney internship. I had wanted to work for the company for forever, and so I did the Disney College program. That was so much fun, among like just the networking I got to do and the people I got to interact with. Funny story, one of the nurses at the hospital post-op recognized me there. She was like, oh my goodness, I remember her. She was so sweet, like to me and my kids during the holiday parties and stuff like that. And it was just like, it was so like heartwarming. I was like, awesome. I'm being recognized for something I want to be recognized for, not necessarily the whole, oh, that's the girl with the titanium plate in her head. There was definitely some mentally and a more emotional side of things, roadblocks, where I'm like, do I even want to try to go back to normal? Do I even want to try to keep pursuing the things that I was pursuing in the first place? And I'm like, yeah, no, I do want to pursue those things. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw our hat in the ring and see what happens. It did not stop me from achieving the things I wanted to achieve.
We had never heard of cerebral cavernous malformations before, had no clue that was even something that existed. I'd heard of aneurysms, I had heard of brain cancer, I had heard of benign brain tumors, and it was a very shaky time, and it was very uncertain. Everything felt uncertain at that point, whether or not she was a surgical candidate, not a surgical candidate, pure chaos. It was just scary chaos.
So tell me what's happening. What happened?
Another brain bleed.
Major, minor?
Minor, at least that's what it looks like right now, CT.
What's the game plan?
We're gonna ambulance transfer to the ICU for more imaging, as per usual procedure.
Okay. Anything you want to say to the people?
Hi. I'm making jokes with the staff the entire, like the EMTs and the paramedics the entire time. I'm cracking jokes with the nurses. And after all of the tests being done, luckily I was not having another stroke. However, I had a lot of scarring and swelling in the area where my cavernoma that was operated on, where it sits in the scar tissue in the brain matter around it, was causing a lot of swelling and having a hard time soaking up old blood from the previous bleeds. And so they were like, hey, the doctor that you have a pre-op appointment, or like, and not even a pre-op appointment, it was a meet and greet appointment, just to see, he was gonna go over all of my MRI imaging and all of everything that happened in the last like 2 years, and you're gonna be like, make the call on whether or not he thinks it's okay to operate on that spot, after multiple doctors saying there's nothing we can do. And so he goes and looks at everything and he goes, I don't know why they haven't operated on this.
That was just as big of a shock in the best way possible for us. She and I looked at each other and just sort of gasped, and needed to take a minute. And I remember saying to him, I just want to backtrack and make sure that I'm clear on what I heard you say. You said that this can be removed, that this can be taken out. And he said, yeah, absolutely. There's no reason it couldn't be. And I had so many emotions rush through me at the same time. One, relief, how fast can we get this done? What does this mean for her? What are the risks? And why did it take so long? That was another, why did it take us 2 years to get to this point? And then immediately it doesn't matter, we're here.
But it was scary. It was definitely scary to process, but I think the fact that I was in control of the situation, and I was going to a hospital that has a clinical care center. So they see patients with this disease and they are a part of research studies, and making sure that people like me do not feel so alone like I had already felt with this condition and felt like I was a lost cause.
One of the things that can be really hard is how isolating it can be to be someone who is sick. To have a friend group, which she has a phenomenal friend group, that listens, that doesn't try to fix, that asks questions, that does their own research, and then also just helps her to feel as normal as possible. She is who she is. She is the same, girl who's been playing Dungeons and Dragons with everybody since middle school. She is the same nerd who is, reads fantasy and sci-fi books, and no one's ever treated her any differently. And I think that's what's so beautiful about it, is giving that sense of normalcy.
The support has always been overwhelming. I have a fantastic family. My parents helped me every step of the way through this entire journey. My siblings as well, and my sibling spouses, and my friends too. I think my main group of friends, we've always just had to do hard things. We've always had to do hard things, and so we kind of just were like, okay, this is another hard thing. We're gonna tackle the hard thing. Same thing with my family. That's quite literally a phrase in my family. We can do hard things.
There is something about her and her perseverance and her commitment to not letting the hard things knock her dead in her tracks. They don't stop her. There's literally nothing she can't do. Literally nothing. I think, and the confidence boosting for her was so massive, knowing that in the midst of the hardest part of it, she still did the things that she wanted to do. And she did them not living at home, without family support. And she did it beautifully.
I know how important research societies and support foundations are. Across my family, I've seen rare diseases and scary conditions take over lives. My mom has multiple sclerosis. My grandmother had cancer. And a big thing that I've always been a proponent of is awareness and making sure people understand and not feel so alone. I think without those resources, I would not have known what to do. I would have kept playing the bouncing around game of going from one doctor to the next doctor with every scary neurological episode that would happen, and keep getting told you're a lost cause. And so to know that there is a group of fantastic, ass-kicking people out there that care about people like me, a lot of them being patients themselves, it is very reassuring that anybody else who would have to go through this would not be alone, and that there are resources available. And it means a lot. It means a lot that there are people that are willing to share their own story to help other people, which is why I wanted to share mine.